The Galactic Empire is a force of unparalleled power and cutting-edge technology that spans innumerable worlds. With their superior weaponry, warriors and leaders believe they are the pinnacle of civilization. They consider Earth to be a backwater planet with primitive people using ridiculous weapons. There are rumors that galactic troops are using antiquated weaponry. Earth's so-called rifles are rudimentary weapons that use bullets and gunpowder. It is funny to see warriors with energy shields, tracking devices, and plasma weaponry. People laughing uncontrollably as they hold tiny metal tubes that shoot lead slugs. Earth's weaponry appear to toys from a bygone era when these soldiers were brought up on tales of technological supremacy. Hardly views Earth's resistance as a challenge. Believing that Earth's forces will ultimately fail before the galactic forces feel safe in their armor and weapons even before the battle starts. Created to fend off advanced energy-based attacks, they dismiss any reference to archaic human snipers as. It seems inconceivable that these firearms, which are merely antiquated marksmen with subpar equipment, could ever be dangerous. Confidence is high among the Empire's ranks, and warriors boast of their effortless victories over other worlds in comparison to their target practice, and they take pride in their shield technology, which is meant to absorb. They endure the most severe laser fire and energy assaults. And they narrate stories of prior triumphs, easily defeating technologically superior civilizations, and thinking they are unbeatable. The rulers of empires share this assurance. Seeing Earth as a stepping stone on their route to dominance in Earth is considered a low-priority target in private talks, since it is thought of as a planet that only has land to offer, and resources with a species that continues to use mechanical weapons rather than weaponry powered by energy. They examine Earths when projectile-based weapons are seen. Defenses laugh and believe the battle has already been won. Commanders believe their soldiers can just march in and overpower the target, so they organize their attack with no forethought. To them, human resistance on Earth is negligible compared to the might of the insect. High-ranking Empire officials are already getting ready to document the win. Imagining when the day comes and the Empire's armies invade Earth, they will talk about another simple conquest. They expect Earth's defenders to give up or be defeated in a matter of hours as they disseminate messages of sure victory. When soldiers arrive fully outfitted in their advanced technology, they feel more like peacekeepers than conquerors, because they don't see any necessity for prudence or a methodical approach, persuaded that their technological superiority renders them invincible from the start at first. The cosmic soldiers acted haughtily, marching across the topography of Earth with no consideration for tactics or concealment. Declaring their arrival publicly, they've grown to feel that no weapon from Earth could pierce their armor or compromise they view human defensive postures as ridiculous and expect no difficulties or surprises. Only Earth's when the galactic forces saw the IR requirement. The soldiers kept quiet as they waited, dismissing it out of fear. Consider the quiet on Earth as evidence of weakness, not realizing that it is a deliberate stillness that is the result of discipline without fear. They keep on their way, continuing making fun of, and not understanding due to the fact that human eyes have already witnessed their haughty arrival in their march as they move on. Some galactic warriors spot light bursts on far-off hills. They make fun of it, claiming that these lights are the last desperate efforts of a backward army, are subtle signals rather than sporadic shots or indications of a terrified force, signs of accuracy and synchronization. The Empire's soldiers are used to energy bursts, light bursts, and they are unprepared for the silence and almost imperceptible precision of Earth's advanced weapons. Defenders, some of the younger soldiers are uneasy about the silence, but their leaders soon soothe them, rejected the notion that, as they advance, humans might actually be a menace. The soldiers of the Galactic Empire mock Earth's weaponry and strategies, blissfully oblivious to what lies ahead, unaware that they are entering a battlefield where every move has been planned out and every advantage. Humans have carefully selected them, yet they so readily undervalue Earth's sniper training. The rigorous curriculum is notable for its ability to hone all senses and equip soldiers for any situation. These snipers are trained to use patience and silence as their greatest weapons. They don't need complex, they rely on rifle proficiency and a thorough awareness of their surroundings rather than technology or advanced equipment. Training is rigorous from the start, teaching new members how to adjust to any environment. Whether it's sweltering heat or they are pushed to their limits both psychologically and physically in the bitter cold, going through taxing workouts that degrade any distraction or uncertainty, each trainee needs to develop their mental and physical stamina in order to maintain concentrate. Distraction isn't an obstacle to attention for hours, days, or even longer. Option, it's the difference between life and death. Every sniper is trained on precision, which is the foundation of their talent. Recruits spend hours on the range hitting targets at progressively greater distances until aim becomes second nature. Instructors pay meticulous attention to each recruit's form, even though it may seem boring to outsiders. And concentration. Requiring perfect precision, they are instructed to shoot not only at the target, but for one exact point. Even an inch of miss is regarded as stealth. Is another essential component of training. Mistakes are not tolerated. These snipers have received training in the art of disguise, which enables them to blend in with any environment, whether it's in Rocky Mountains, barren deserts, or lush forests. Blend seamlessly with their surroundings, which move soundlessly. They are taught to maintain a low profile in order to avoid detection at all costs, even while they are in open areas. Utilize every patch of land and every shadow to their benefit in order to remain undetected. Crucial as the actual shot. If not, more breathing exercises are also essential. In order to synchronize their breathing and heartbeat with their bullets, snipers practice holding their breath right before firing, minimizing motion to prevent any interference with their aim at this degree of. For long-distance shooting, control is crucial because even the smallest movement could cause a shot to be missed through repeated in the heat of a mission. This practice becomes automatic, and they don't even consider it. Snipers are taught to maintain composure under pressure in order to think properly, and mental endurance is emphasized throughout. Psychological activities are incorporated into their training to help soldiers concentrate under pressure. In order to strengthen their resilience, teachers subject students to situations that simulate the mayhem of a battlefield, yet their calmness becomes a skill when one is taught to block out the noise and stay fully conscious of their environment. Necessary, as one mistake may expose their position, trainees also learn to anticipate in order to evaluate and forecast the behavior of their targets. They are trained to read every element of a situation. Teachers instill in them the value of deciphering even the smallest actions and reading body language. Any indication of intent makes this ability crucial in operations where they must predict every move of the adversary, remaining one step ahead to guarantee victory. Their ballistics expertise is unmatched. The mechanics of every shot, knowing how their bullets are affected by distance, wind speed, and gravity. Trajectory outdoor exercises are used to test this understanding, which transcends theory, figuring out and modifying each variable until they are able to assess the circumstances automatically. This mastery of regardless of external obstacles, ballistics enables them to hit their mark across amazing distances. Technology is used in training as well, but not in the same way as in the Galaxy forces that deploy snipers or automated targeting and scanning equipment with aids. They learn to rely on their own abilities instead of rather to any gadget that might break down or be interfered with. People learn to get by utilizing just the knowing that true snipers don't need on tools to succeed. Essentials instructors practice this independence. Despite the absence of advanced equipment, these snipers possess a great deal of discipline and understanding, which allows them to set up a shot anywhere using their eyes to measure distances and sense wind. They acquire the ability to move deliberately and execute with precision, wasting neither time nor motion in anything they perform, maximizing their efficiency while remaining undetected and carrying out their objective covertly. By the end of the program, every sniper has faced challenges that are intended to strengthen their iron will, have molded their resolve and attention, resulting in them becoming not just soldiers but also experts who can function autonomously for extended periods of time, accomplishing their goals despite the conditions they bring with them. Sense of accountability, since they understand that they are not only representing their personal lives, but also the success of their entire unit. By these snipers grow attached to their gun as a result of this rigorous program, viewing it as an extension of as carefully as they train their own bodies and minds to form this relationship. They also clean and maintain their weapon. Their relationship with their rifle is intimate. They are familiar with every detail and action needed to use it perfectly, is what enables them to make the most of their shots when it counts most, resulting in a soldier who isn't merely precise yet has the ability to elevate accuracy to the level of art. These snipers have a serene precision that makes them a formidable force that doesn't require expensive gear or cutting-edge technology. Depend on their own abilities, developed over years of effort, and they carry with them more than simply a weapon, but an iron will, a lifetime of training, and the composed assurance of someone who understands that one well-placed galactic armies are secure in their superiority. And shock has the power to alter everything. As technology advances over our rough, rainy terrain, they anticipate an easy victory. Their armor shines, their weapons hum with power, and they advance, assuming that no weapon from Earth could breach their defenses. They engage in innumerable conflicts around the galaxy, always triumphing by sheer technological might, and they anticipate that this mission will be no exception. The first indications of disaster appear subtly. Few soldiers became aware that they were being observed, but no obvious dangers appeared. They start to feel anxious, but their training stifles the emotion, so they dismiss it with laughter, telling themselves that, since their sophisticated scanners are unable to identify any energy signs, they presume that any resistance will only be an annoyance. The Earth defenders are waiting and monitoring closely, while the enemy in concealment are inconsequential. Although they lack energy shields and sophisticated scanners, Earth snipers are patient and skilled. Their carefully considered placements are dispersed throughout the terrain in a way that is imperceptible to the ordinary eye. The first shot is fired, but the cosmic armies are unaware of the menace that is rapidly approaching them. Unexpectedly, precisely, and silently eliminates a soldier in the rear of the line, causing the other soldiers to pause. Shock. Their sensors are unable to determine where the victim's armor was shot. Was meant to be impregnable, but now a fallen soldier is lying in front of them. Confusion spreads swiftly among the ranks after being overrun by an onslaught, and they search the terrain for seeking any indication of movement or energy, but their advanced weapons show nothing. They have no advantage in detecting an enemy that is hidden because they are made for close quarters and mid-range energy-based warfare. They are taught to anticipate energy signatures and targeting systems rather than long-range bullets. The Galactic soldiers experience a tinge of anxiety for the first time as they realize they might not be as untouchable as they once believed. Each subsequent shot is as quiet and accurate as the first soldier to fall, by one without ever recognizing their assailant. The Galactic soldiers, so used to open warfare with obvious enemies, find it difficult to adjust and lack strategies for a persistent adversary. Unseen hitting with lethal precision from an unidentified point, they scramble for cover, something they've hardly ever had to do before, as the formation starts to crack and panic sets in. With every fallen comrade, some people try to retaliate by firing in the direction they believe the rounds may be coming from, but their close-quarters energy weapons lose accuracy and scatter. They are useless at long range against an adversary that hides well out of sight and keeps an eye on them at all times. Every time they try to find the sniper, they merely betray their own position. They are easy targets, and as they keep losing, the Galactic forces begin to comprehend the severity of their situation, as evidenced by their declining numbers and disorganized groupings, outwitted by an adversary who employs accuracy and patience rather than brute force. Which is novel, for they are ill-prepared for it, as their typical strategies of superior technology and overwhelming firepower give having no defense against a blind marksman with unwavering aim. This sniper's patience starts to sap the spirits of the Galactic soldiers, are aware that their opponent relies on expertise rather than brute force. And restraint, the deliberate pauses in between shoots and the quiet blows, produce a tension they are prepared to manage. The Galactic soldiers, accustomed to fast-paced conflict, are confused by this deliberate, plotting warfare where every minute could result in yet another defeat, since their high-tech battle training is ineffective against the type of warfare we're anticipating, and attempts to reorganize and plan fail, and observing is just as lethal as assaulting. Commanders give urgent instructions as more men perish, but there is no practical way to deal with this kind of. The Galactic soldiers attempt to rescan the area in the hopes that their technology would detect the sniper's position, but they discover nothing. They've become so dependent on their devices and systems that they're disoriented, unable to operate efficiently without the technology that typically provides them with an advantage, and eventually, some soldiers break, and the remaining soldiers attempt to hold their ground as they flee, abandoning their stations in a panic. But the unceasing silence as the danger grows, the sniper keeps hitting with the same lethal accuracy, never missing and never hurrying. The once proud and self-assured Galactic soldiers are now confined to defensive positions in the vain hope of avoiding. Their confidence is destroyed with the following shot, as their once fearless advance is stopped in the face of this unrelenting invisible assault. The only invisible adversary Galactic troops encounter an uncommon flaw in their highly developed technology. Their dominance and potent weaponry are useless against an adversary who fights according to their own rules, become a source of anxiety and perplexity for them, as they live in constant fear of a silent attack from an adversary they cannot see or comprehend. And as the remaining soldiers attempt to reassemble, they come to the realization that they must retreat. The choice is made purely on the basis of instinct rather than strategy or tactics. Due to necessity, they are surpassed by one sniper's ability and tenacity rather than by technology, brought a whole battalion of the best troops in the Empire to their knees with Earth's antiquated weapons. Their ranks have been wiped out by an adversary they once considered as unimportant in their hasty retreat, shattering their pride. The sad testament to the GI troops' disregard for Earth's laws is left by their slain companions. The survivors who were previously so sure of their superiority are now left as defenders. They have encountered innumerable adversaries throughout the galaxy, challenging their entire conception of might and power. However, no one has ever humbled them so much. Their experience with Earth's basic rifle has altered their knowledge of war, compelling them to recognize that ability, not just technology, is what truly gives one strength. As they escape, the surviving troops take their newfound respect for the quiet deadly with them, along with their patience and mastery. Force that is concealed in the terrain, they have discovered a lesson they will never forget, that even the skill of a single, resolute warrior cannot be replaced by sophisticated technology. Their retreat signifies more than just a tactical loss, but a change in their perception of what it is to be genuinely strong, as every soldier begins to sense a new level of anxiety as the sniper keeps hitting the galactic troops. The weight of an ongoing invisible threat. Instead of facing a traditional adversary, they now confront an adversary who employs quiet, patience, and accuracy to foster a psychological. Even the most seasoned soldiers are unnerved by the stillness itself during combat, as each fallen comrade intensifies this terror. Turns into a weapon for loud, explosive warfare. Some soldiers like the quiet, unsettling. Every minute that goes by without them doing something causes their tension to increase and their nerves to get thinner. Whispering among themselves over their shoulders and glancing wearily at peaks and shadows. It's not the sight of an adversary that makes people uneasy, is the lack of one. The feeling that someone is watching peacefully and completely control their education did not equip them to handle this. Galactic soldiers depend on. They are trained to surge forward in fast-paced, high-intensity encounters in order to overwhelm. Here, they confront a completely different conflict with strength and cutting-edge weapons. One where they are the prey of a lone sniper who won't show any signs of weakness. The sniper's invisible, the overbearing presence drains them by making them constantly vigilant. Every quiet strike causes their confidence and energy to decline, and their leaders attempt to motivate them by giving orders. Refocus and concentrate, but the messages don't have the same impact as they did previously. No obvious target to engage the soldiers in combat, no obvious enemy to battle. They pay only a passing heed to it, concentrating more on their own survival than on any strategy to deal with this elusive threat. As the psychological effects of this invisible foe start to show in every situation, morale is at an all-time low. Every action a soldier takes feels dangerous in their thoughts, even small ones. Even as they attempt to be quiet while clinging to one another out of terror, some troops flinch at tiny. The tension is in the sounds that jump at the snap of a twig or the rustle of a leaf. Evidently looming like a cloud, their faith in their own armor and weapons erodes with each day that goes by. Second, even though they have some of the galaxy's most cutting-edge technology, it seems pointless against an adversary. The sniper stillness between shots is disconcerting for anyone who doesn't rely on any of it. There is a waiting period that appears to go on forever, but this methodical, silent approach makes every turn into a test of their forbearance and determination. The longer they wait, the more terrified they are, and the more they start to feel like every shot serves as a reminder that the prey is being pursued by an invisible predator who is skilled at taking advantage of their vulnerabilities. Despite their best efforts, their technology is unable to protect them in this situation. Forecast the location of the next shot, but because it's futile, the sniper locations are never predictable, shifting, leaving them without a pattern to follow. This unpredictability makes them anxious because they don't know where to look, or they crouch, huddle, and attempt to make themselves smaller targets in order to find shelter. Behaviors that are unfamiliar to them because they are accustomed to standing up and moving forward with assurance. But in this case, they retreat. Anxiety spreads like wildfire among soldiers who fear the reach of an invisible gun. Who had marched in flawless lines are now separated and more focused on their personal survival than with any coordinated strategy. They exchange desperate looks, wondering if they'll be next. Every ridge becomes a potential hiding place, and every shadow becomes a potential threat. The battlefield has been transformed into a minefield of terror by the sniper, and every soldier feels confined. Every shot in it reverberates in their memories for a long time after it is fired. Even after relocating, they are still aware of the attention and the potential for sniper scopes to placed on them, and the lack of any discernible pattern in the sniper's moves makes them more paranoid. It appears as though the sniper is able to pick off targets in a manner that maximizes this terror by knowing precisely when and where to attack. That makes them feel exposed and powerless, and some soldiers begin to doubt one another's actions. They're commanders and leaders for guidance, but even they appear unsure of the assurance that formerly characterized their whispers and anxious looks took the place of conversations. Demonstrating their confidence in their strategies, and now that their equipment is broken, they understand that they are facing not only a weapon, but also a mind that has been educated to turn all of their psychological vulnerabilities against them. Even attempts to request reinforcements are fraught with anxiety. They are caught in a vicious cycle of fear and quiet because they fear that any conversation may expose their positions. The suffocating environment makes their advanced weapons useless, and they are unable to move without drawing the sniper's attention and armor into weighty reminders that they cannot be saved by technology alone. They are driven to engage a combat they are ill-prepared for by the sniper, and they discover that their weapons, which are powerful in normal fighting, but in this situation, every second reveals their weakness, incapacity to adjust to a battle that requires patience, control, and accuracy, rather than strength or firepower kind of conflict they never anticipated, one that weakens their resolve as the sniper keeps up this stealthy attack, destroying not only their ranks but also their willpower. The terror is palpable. They are prisoners held in place by a silent but powerful force that makes even the idea of moving forward unthinkable. Of this battlefield, imprisoned by the overwhelming psychological might of an invisible force, rather than walls or hurdles adversary, they were stripped of their self-assurance and forced to face their own limitations. Every fallen comrade serves as a reminder and emblem of the sniper's unwavering silence. The survivor's sense of dread grows as they pursue it and realize that their guns, armor, and technology are all they feel dejected because the things they once took pride in are useless in the face of this measured precision. Not by a large display of force, but by a single, well-behaved adversary who recognizes the effectiveness of fear in the battlefield has changed, becoming a realm of silence and shadows where victory seems certain, where they are aware that retreat is their only means of survival and that every stride and sound could be their last, retreating from this horror and letting up of their dignity. But even retreat is risky because every action could attract by the end, the soldiers' spirits are crushed and they are confronted with something. A mind that can use terror as a weapon is more potent than any weapon, and when they retreat, they depart, behind a field that is no longer theirs, a location where the silent killer rules. In their last minutes on Earth's land, they carry a single sniper who has surpassed them on every level. They brought with them a new perspective on World War I, where mastery of terror, rather than technology, is the most effective weapon. Themselves, the beaten and disheartened cosmic troops are confronted with an unquestionably. In this encounter, their sophisticated technology has let them down against a single, competent opponent, has had a profound effect on their numbers, as well as their comprehension of combat in general. At first, they thought Earth's weaponry and strategies were antiquated and rudimentary, not worth their taking into account. They now understand that control and expertise might eclipse technology in ways they could never have imagined, and as they retreat, the hush on their memories of the battlefield serve as a reminder of how one person's perseverance and knowledge were able to change the course of events. Their energy shields and advanced armor, which were once a source of pride, have proven ineffective against a whole battalion. Facing an adversary who is skilled at taking advantage of every vulnerability, they now recognize power comes not simply from armor or weapons, but also from the patience and mastery that only experience can provide. Discipline may bring, and this encounter has changed how the cosmic armies view Earth's defenders. Originally a primitive planet that was easily subdued, it now symbolizes a force that can withstand and even overcome the empires. The most important lesson they've learned is that Earth's defenders should not be taken lightly. When used by an experienced combatant, technology alone cannot ensure victory. Even a basic rifle can become this is a difficult lesson for the Galactic soldiers because of their lethal weapon. They depart the battlefield with a profound sense of humility, knowing that they have battled an opponent unlike any other. Acknowledge that Earth's defenders have a strength that is silent and unreliant on the newest technology or the most advanced machinery they have. Something much more potent and knowledge of battle that transcends technology and equipment, and a determination to defend their house at all costs. As they reorganize, the Galactic troops must face their own conceit, which they had brought to this mission. They've been reminded that their arrogance in disregarding Earth's defenders as inferior and their weaponry as ineffectual, that real strength comes from appreciating opponents' capabilities and comprehending their strategies. They've learned to value Earth's defenders' intricacy, the layers of expertise in planning that turned high-level officers among them feel the burden of turning a battlefield into a quiet defeat. Their commanders of Earth's responsibilities were guaranteed of an easy victory, inadequacy, and now they have to come back with a story of defeat that doesn't fit the typical narrative. Of supremacy and domination, they are aware that the Empire will not quickly forget this loss. Experience that serves as a clear reminder of their own shortcomings throughout their retreat. When troops think back on the lessons they've learned, they recall every point throughout the conflict where they understand that Earth's defenders don't battle for technology, which was rendered useless by a single, disciplined opponent. Glory or conquest, they fight with a commitment that comes from pride in their home and survival. And this knowledge fills them with a renewed sense of deference and an understanding that their adversary is more than a mere conqueror of the galactic powers, have grown to regard Earth's defenders as equals due to their ability and determination rather than their technology. They've come across a method of fighting that contradicts all of their preconceived notions about force and strength. Realization creates a memory that sticks with them and influences their behavior and choices in subsequent interactions. Return to their ships bearing not only the battle's material losses, but also the more profound psychological impact of their loss. They are aware that they need to change because the tactics they have been using for so long won't be sufficient, and if they face such opposition once more, they must acknowledge that they have lost not by excellent technology. But the fundamental reality is that true power originates from inside, from patience, discipline, and mastery of. As they get ready to depart Earth's orbit, the galactic soldiers experience with a mixture of reverence and fear. They confronted a rival who had demonstrated the boundaries of their own strength and had exploited their vulnerabilities against them in unexpected ways. They are aware of how strong Earth's defenders are. They used to think that this planet was an easy target, but this experience has altered their perception of the galactic powers. Depart Earth with a fresh sense of purpose, resolved to grow and change in the face of adversity by learning from their failure. Of unforeseen difficulties, they now realize that no amount of technology progress can take the place of a skilled fighter's commitment and skill, which are the real indicators of a warrior. In their last moments on Earth's battlefield, the galactic armies showed their commitment rather than their weapons. Recognize that strength is a lesson that will stick with you, and that it is more than the sum of your tools. Them long after they've served as a warning that even the most highly developed armies can't ensure victory. Brought to their knees by one resolute person's uncompromising will as they leave, they understand that Earth is now a resilient planet rather than just a location of conquest. Protected by those who recognize the importance of each shot, action, and quiet moment, it's a place they will recall, a location that has influenced them in ways they never could have predicted. They now understand that Earth's defenders are more than they seem. There is a depth of ability that demands respect hidden behind their basic weaponry. Depart with a lowered sense of pride, but with newfound wisdom from the galaxy. Forces have been given a unique chance to examine their own presumptions in order to look past their conceit and comprehend the actual of strength. This experience has altered their perception of Earth, transforming a planet they previously disregarded into a place of mystery and strength. Carrying with them the memories of a war fought with each mile that separates them from Earth, and lost a conflict that gave them more insight into bravery and resiliency than any victory they could have ever imagined. Facts, something remarkable that they might never completely comprehend, and as they vanish into the emptiness of, they leave a legacy of reverence, recognition of Earth's defenders, and the strength of one person in space. A genuine master holding a quiet rifle.